Hello, welcome to Come As You Are this first Monday in November. I'm still like, I know it sounds kind of redundant, but also I'm like, January felt like a year to me. And ever since then, each month has felt like a week or a day. I felt like it made up for the first one feeling so long to everything just flying by. I am an obnoxious Dodgers fan today. I'm here unapologetically. My very gracious friend Mae Temple is here with me today, living outside of Toronto. And it's because she's such a kind, generous, empathetic heart, has not jumped off and has been willing to be part of this conversation today, even though we defeated her Toronto Blue Jays. And if you're not a baseball fan, this was the series to tune into. It was wild. There were 2 extra inning games. There were multiple ways to do a double play that I've never seen before. Like they have the traditional double play and the 55 other double plays that happened in this series. It was wild. I'm still reeling. I'm exhausted and exhilarated. And sometimes it's fun just to get lost in whatever that favorite thing is and just be in that cocoon for a while and just kind of remember that as crazy and chaotic and emotionally exhausting life can be sometimes, it's good to find the space to just enjoy it. And I decided over the last 9 to 10 days that this was going to be my focus, that everything else was going to be scheduled around my ability to show up for this and feel all the joy and anxiety and excitement. And yeah, so that's me today. Yes, I am a neurotic fan. I've been a fan since I was 10 years old. So here I am today. This is my Come As You Are. All right, I'm going to go to my very kind and generous friend Tara, joining us from Ontario. Tell us why you wanted to join today. You've got some exciting news to share as well.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. First of all, thank you for having me here again and to be joined by these lovely women doing great work in this world. It's an honor to be in your presence. I do want to mention that I've been in this process since 2022, writing my own first book. And it's been a grueling process. And I've been the type of individual that has always wanted to go out and, get my dreams accomplished and have a timeline and, project manage every single thing. But I'm learning through this process that things sometimes get disrupted and things are moving at snail's pace, even though I wanted to launch this book much earlier. I've had to revisit my publishing goals and what path I wanted to go down for on this route. A lot of times with traditional publishing, your creativity doesn't always it's not always handed to you. Things get changed with the book. So I've decided to go ahead and self-publish and, don't put a hold on that anymore with what's going on in the world right now, with people suffering through chaos and, climate change and every ways we're all affected in one way or another. We need some sort of message out there that will help people get in touch with their purpose again, and to find that inner peace and know that that peace can come within if you give yourself the right tools to do so and reach out to your communities and support systems. So basically my whole thing now is, don't ever give up on your dreams, no matter how long it takes. If that takes 5 or 10 years, just stick with it. But if you continue to feel that energy and passion attached to your purpose, it's well worth the wait. So, I'm just going with the flow. I'm, defining success for myself. I don't to be selling millions and millions of books, but if I sell, say, 5 to 10 books, that'll be more than enough. Because if I could touch one life with my message, that will be, more than better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now. I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective and, not compare myself to what's out there in the world of books. And, for a first time author, this is a good measuring stick for myself to, just be happy with the journey and the process and the people I meet along the way.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for that. And I think you spoke to so many things that we face. And it's going to be fun as each of you share. I'm going to give you the others of you chances to ask each other questions. And I have a feeling that you've brought up some points today that we can all connect to. All right, my friend Rachel, how are you? What brings you here today?
I'm doing great. Well, you know, I love you and I love meeting the women that you bring on. I always leave one of these panels feeling super exhilarated and that I've been heard, and I love that. And so that's why I always love to come on when I can. I think that the interesting thing about the latter part of this year for me is that taking stock of what I've been doing and
Mm,
knowing that all of these experiences are getting me to a much clearer place, which I love. And I started taking this online business course earlier this year and have realized that I cannot run my home organizing business the way I ran my personal training business for so long. And the disconnect, it wasn't frustrating me and it wasn't making me feel like I wasn't serving my purpose, but it also made me realize the kind of clients I was getting are not my ideal clients, and how to get your brain to get there has been
yeah.
an interesting journey. So
Mhm.
I love the fact that being an entrepreneur, being this person who I'm willing to try all these things, is an evolution of me. And the
Mm,
fact that I get to serve people along the way and help people along the way is so beautiful. And I wouldn't change that for anything. But I'm also learning about me more and learning about who I am as a person and how I help people is connected to my personal training business, but this is a whole nother level of going into someone's home and touching
mhm.
their things and dealing with their emotions. And so I just want to be as prepared for that as I can.
Yeah. I think that you clean out people's closets not just physically but mentally and emotionally too. We've talked about that fact, and I've shared a few things with you. I'm like, people are talking about the emotional mental part of clean. I had an episode about that, and I shared it with Rachel. I'm like, this is a tagline for you and what you do, because it's so much deeper than this stuff.
Mhm.
It becomes the relationship with the stuff, the energy it creates in the room, whether it's healthy or I mean, there's so many things that come up in what you do. And I love that you've been able to kind of unpack that and see all that. And I love what you said about, as you evolve, the opportunity to both evolve and learn about yourself and share it with other people. Because that's a lot of how I feel about all that I've created this year. Is it's been my own personal evolution, and also I'm getting it to share it with other people in a new, fresh way. So I love that. So good. All right, Barbara, tell me, you've just moved, which is its own special chaos. We all know moving is like in the top three things that stress you out. You've got the perfect formula for that, thank goodness, but you probably had to tap back into your own resources as much as anything lately. But welcome to the panel. You haven't been on a panel with us before. So I'm so happy to have you here. You're going to meet Barbara on the podcast later this year. But today we get her on the Come As You Are panel. Welcome to us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Yes, I just moved after 22 years in LA, and intuition, this is what I help people with. But when intuition said it's San Antonio, I went, no, that can't be right. Like, because I was intuition again. I even said it to my husband, and he was like, no, that can't be right. And lo and behold, 3 weeks later, we were moved. It happened very quickly. Was
Wow.
This is the wild ride. I think rewilding, I always say intuition is, it's so far from logic. And this is honestly the biggest trust and dose of it I have had. So the
Yeah.
only reason I will say I'm so grateful for this, Melissa, and I'm here today is because it's literally called Come As You Are, because I am in such a liminal space, and I always think
Mm-hmm.
about that all of the time. And all I hear in the midst of that, these are the times in the past that I wouldn't show up, or I don't have
Mm.
the perfect clarity yet right now. It feels like such a
Mm.
thing, but I feel grateful in the liminal space is like just
Mm.
going up one breadcrumb at a time and show up with
Yeah.
where you're at. So that's why I'm here today. I'm so grateful for it.
I love that because that's where so many of us live so much of the time. Life is filled with these liminal spaces. And sometimes we try to put life in this little box and define it by these, titled moments, special moments. But really, most of life is filled with exactly what you're talking about. And the ability to just come as you are, show up as you are, feel safe, feel seen, feel known and heard, and just acknowledging that is also, I think, a permission slip for us, like, oh yeah, I can do that too. So thank you. Thank you for jumping on and joining us today. I love that. Kim.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome from chilly Iowa, but not as chilly as Nicole.
No, not as chilly as Nicole. Thank heaven. It's never that chilly here. And Florida's only 2 months away. So
That's right. Kim splits her time.
Nice.
Split my time. Hey, I just wanted to, I got another book out and I decided, and it came about really quickly. My new workbook is called Story, Space, and Lines. And it is it's got journal prompts for writers who want to write a companion journal or a workbook to go with their primary resource. And it really came out of this place where I'm at this point in my life. And I feel like I'm in a loop of redo, right? It's like I think I want something. I think I'm going to do something. I do it and realize I didn't do it the way I should have done it. So I'm in this cycle. And I was working with a client and as she was creating her own journal, and I thought, well, I can do this better. And I created a journal for myself that helped her. And it's like, why not put it out there? So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And Kim's the one, she's the genius behind us creating a workbook, excuse me, for our online course. It was her idea about 6 months ago. She's like, you need a workbook with this. I'm like, all right, you're my girl. Live, you get my coughing. Of course, I don't have my water. I'm too excited this morning, running around doing all the things. So yeah, I love that you've been able to take that. I love this season, and you and I have talked about this a lot, and Rachel and Erin have talked about this a lot, of being in this space of, we're going to create this and release it and see what happens, and really releasing the expectation and attached, outcomes. We're just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's calling me. So I'm going to do it and see what happens. And it's the most freeing space to live in. It goes back to what Tara said about, if you get a chance to trust yourself with that and make a difference in one life, wow, that's just the icing on the cake. I love that so much. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nicole joining us literally, really, truly from the Great White North, like Alaska, where she's freezing in the snow. And she's recently moved as well, although she's a little more used to moving than Barbara.
Oh yeah, we move every 2 years. We've moved 9 times in the last 12 years. So this is not new for us.
Wow. Welcome to the life of the military. Say thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to Come As You Are. Tell me why you wanted to be here today.
Thank you. Well, first, thank you for having me. All of you sound so amazing, and I can't wait to hear more about what you're doing. I honestly joined because I wanted to hear, what are other women doing? How are they supporting others, changing lives, making a difference? Because I truly, truly, truly believe women rise together, or as I say, queens rise together. And it takes a team. It takes community. It takes not just believing in yourself, but believing in others. And I feel super blessed that I do have my 4th book coming out in 2 weeks. It is called A Queen Saves Herself. After my son Samuel died when he was 9 weeks old, and then I went on to have 2 more miscarriages, I'll never forget promising those children, if I ever get clean, sober, and heal from this loss, I will make it my life purpose to help other women who've experienced rape, abuse, infant loss, miscarriage, and addiction like myself. And I feel so honored that I've kept that promise to my babies. I just celebrated 6 years of sobriety. I'm truly living my best life. It has been a journey, and I wouldn't change it. Everything that's happened in my life has brought me to this point where I truly get to impact so many other women.
Yeah. You do. And you do it with such a passion and authenticity and energy. And you create these safe spaces for women to land. And I had you share this with the panel before we started. And I'm going to have you share it again. Tell the listeners what you do each time, because you move every 2 years. So every 2 years, you're finding new community and that's a lot, but you have found a way to connect that I think is so special. Talk about these groups that you start each time you move.
Absolutely. So when my husband told me back in February, you're not going to believe this, we're either going to go to Texas, it was San Antonio, or to Alaska. And I was like, oh, let's go to Texas. There's no way. I don't want to do Alaska. But the more I started researching, the women here need help. They need guidance. They need community. Every 2 years when we move, I start a pregnancy and infant loss group. I've started 8 groups all over the United States of America. And when we got here, I found out that there's no support here for women who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss, which is, like I shared with you guys earlier, is just wild to me, since it's 1 in 4 women. 1 in 4 women. So I jumped in full force. We said, okay, we're doing this. We're going to Alaska. It's going to be really cold for 2 years, but we can do anything for 2 years. And I jumped right in. I started leading them for the military spouses here, because it is true. Every time we move, we have to start completely over. New friends, new neighbors, new schools, new dog, you name it, it's all new. And I want to provide that safe space where it's just, you move and you know it's going to exist. You're going to have that community built in immediately. Like I shared, I'm also a recovering alcoholic. So I start AA groups for military spouses in the area as well, which is just so neat, because I think sometimes they forget about us. They forget that this journey, we're alone a lot of times. We're, we're not just having to start over, but it's just us and our families. And so I want to provide that safe space for women to come together and no longer feel alone.
I love that. And it reminds me of my friend Raina Worthy, who has a military spouse, wife's work that she does. She's got a podcast. I connected her and Nicole via email because I met both of them within a similar time frame. I'm like, oh, you two need to be friends. Raina's not here today because they've recently moved.
I know, I just talked to her.
Yeah, they've recently moved to the Keys, but they've been displaced housing wise. There's a lot going on down there right now. So she's like, sorry, I can't join. I don't have a house right now. I'm like, please don't apologize.
But that's the thing that can happen. Like when we got here, we had to live in this random place for 2 weeks because your things don't. One time it took them 3 months to get our things from one city to another. It is just a wild ride. The military is just one in its own.
Yeah. So also, when you thank the service people you see on the airplane, tell them if they have a partner to thank them too, because you guys are flying solo so much and doing so many things. So thank you for being another voice in that. And so much of that is so applicable. I've moved 12 times in 33 years, not the same as a military, but we do move quite often. I've lived all over the country. And you get to a point where you're like, by the time this was our 12th move, when we moved here to Fresno, I'm in Fresno, California now, and we moved from Lubbock, Texas. Brady, my husband works in higher ed administration for colleges. So we've lived all over, been on university campuses all over the country. It's been both the most wonderful, exhilarating experience to have that opportunity to see how all these different women and people and places and spaces live and move through the world. I've been to 48 out of 50 states and all that. But at the same time, there's also a point where you're just like, Mama's getting tired. Like, we need to start thinking about when the last career move is. And
we only have 6 years left, and I am counting down every single day. I want to live somewhere where they can't tell me you have to move, that you can't. I just want to be where I want to be, and that's it.
Yeah. Put down some roots. I know. So I think it goes back to that nuance of like, I wouldn't change any of the moves. They've all brought their special times, blessings, opportunities, people I would have never met. And also you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm not sure that all of that outweighs all of this. And I've told this story before, but my oldest daughter is like, Mom, moving is your Olympics. Like, you've got it down to a science, because on this last move, it came at a time when we had a lot happening. I was literally like, Brady took a new job. I was in North Carolina helping our middle daughter move for 3 weeks. We'd lost my mother-in-law in March. My father-in-law, we lost during the time that we were getting ready to move. within a 5-month period. So it was a swirling hurricane, and apologies to all of those because there was a Cat 5 hurricane out there last week named Melissa. And I was just like, oh man, I felt terrible, even though it's not my fault. It also was like, my name's attached to that. Ironically, our friend Erin Copeland had a Cat 5 earlier this year, and she reminded me, it's okay. Our names are retired. We don't have to do that again. Anyway, it was literally, that was a squirrel thought of mine. Not a lot of sleep in the last week. So, but it was literally the hurricane of emotions that I was experiencing. And so my oldest daughter gave me this pep talk because I was like, we were trying to navigate multiple logistics happening at one time. In the midst of that, it was our 30-year wedding anniversary that we were trying to go through and have our trip and celebrate that amongst all of these other things happening. And she she looked at me in the eye and she's like, Mom, you can do this. This is your Olympics. Just hone in. You know how to do this. No one knows how to do this. I'm like, okay, let's go. It was like the exact pep talk that I needed. But yeah, there's something about that, the nuance of life. And it goes back to what Barbara said about the liminal spaces that we live in. And just like, okay, let me take a look at what's going on around me. I'm not going to reject any of the energies. I'm going to be curious about them. I'm going to take a look at them. I'm going to be open to them, and also going to try to really ground myself in the process. And that sounds like it conflicts with each other. But when you have the resources that so many of us share, it actually allows you the ability to do that. And that's what I love about these come as you are spaces, is that we're all open to that. We're all doing that. And we're all in our way offering resources to help other women navigate and do that. So I'm going to go back around here. I'm going to start with Tara. Is there any questions you have or comments or statements to any of the women you've heard from so far? Oops, can't hear you. I think you got your mute on. There you go. Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry, my phone was touchy there. So yeah, I'd like to draw upon what Barbara has been working on with intuition, because I write about that a lot, following the breadcrumbs. And before, I never used to pay much attention to it, but when I did pay attention to it, I made the biggest life change that I have from my career life, and stopping working at a high level and just deciding to take a year off and find my true passions and my true callings again. So just wanted to hear a bit from you, like what things should we be looking out for when we're looking for guidance in decision making?
First of all, congrats on that, Tara, and same. That was like everything I talk about, being in burnout and having to stop completely. I would say for anyone else who's listening, who's maybe not doing all the things it sounds like a lot of us are doing, I just was cut off from the neck down. So it's one thing to go listen to your intuition, and people are going, I can't hear anything, I'm exhausted, I can't feel anything, I can't. And this is why I actually love human design, what I do readings in, because it sort of gives us key-ins. I'm curious, actually, I was going to ask you about your process, Tara. What I love learning about this is I actually think we can all listen or feel our intuition in different ways. So a lot of times, maybe we've been getting information and you're like, listen to your gut. And for me, it doesn't feel like that. I need a lot of quiet alone time. I need to be out in nature, away from other people. And I just need to like meditate and sit and listen. And I feel like I had this sort of clairaudient voice. Like when I knew to move, I couldn't ignore it. It wasn't going to go. And for other people, I've heard like they really like to move their bodies. They feel like they have an engine that needs a jump start. So I suggest like go for a walk and talk and start talking to yourself and feeling that in a different way. So that's been it for me. And I think it's different. I'm curious, in your process, did it feel like nonlinear, or how were you hearing it?
I was seeing it through physical symbols, and also hearing like a whispered voice in my mind. It's very clairvoyant, because I do have tendencies to be in touch with the spirit world as well. So I was hearing just phrases over and over again in my mind when I was alone, and I was seeing breadcrumbs pointing me to, stop going down one path and start looking towards going down that other path. So yeah, they're very clear. Like in my corporate work, my relationships and my with my colleagues were hitting roadblocks, and they weren't flourishing anymore, and things were just falling apart everywhere around me, and just telling me, you're not meant to be here anymore. So just listening out for those signals, and exploring those messages through writing a lot, and doing a lot of introspective reflection really helped to make that clear for me.
Oh, you, Tara. And I'm also very connected to the other, or the spirit world. So I actually love inviting in the signs or the synchronicities or the help to like see it. And then again, yeah, I feel you. I can't ignore it then.
Yes. Sure. Thank you for sharing that. That is very helpful. I love hearing how other people receive it as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Rachel.
I just wanted to ask Nicole, do you start when you know you're going to move somewhere? How do you get that group going so quickly?
I'm very open and honest on social media. So every time we move, there's a military spouse group. And that's really where everything starts.
Okay.
That is for all the women or men, the spouses that have been in a place that can recommend doctors or real estate agents or anything that you might need. So I always start there. And it was really cool with this one when I started sharing that I'm moving here. I want to start this group. Are you interested? Somebody at Eielson Air Force Base, which is where we are in North Pole, Alaska, you can't make that up either, said, oh my gosh, how can we help, serve, whatever. Well, every October 15th, which is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day, I host what's called a Wave of Light. And it's a global thing where everybody lights a candle at 7 p.m. They're like, we want to host it for you. We will market it for you. We'll get the word out. We'll provide candles, food, drink. I had 25 women show up to my first meeting. It was an answer to prayer. It was it was just beautiful to see all these women like trusting me. They don't know me, but like trusting me and coming into this safe space. And every single one of them stood up and shared their story. And it was just the most incredible event I've probably ever been a part of. And now we're meeting twice a month. So it's like, it's building momentum. And like I said, I do a separate one for Fairbanks. That's the city closest to us, for Fairbanks people, because they don't have access to the military installations. So I want to have both because it's just such a need. It's a need everywhere, but I really saw it when we came here. It's a small town, so there's not a lot of groups and support and things like that. So I'll immediately reach out to spouses to be like, how can I serve?
That's amazing. I just have a quick follow-up question. So when you leave a place, how does the group keep going?
It does. Usually at that point, I've been there for 2 years, that someone else is ready to step up and lead it, which is what I want. I want to be able to leave and keep growing, and then the groups keep going. And I'll check in. I'll come to a FaceTime or a Zoom or something. And it's just been amazing to see it take off.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
Oh, man, I love that. This is an example of like, whatever that thing is that's calling you, grab onto that, pay attention to that intuition, that gut, that insight that you're getting, that nudge, however it shows up for you, and follow it and trust it. These are the kinds of things that grow out of that. This is the kind of impact that trusting that can do. Oh, so good. So good. All right, Barbara, any questions or statements or thoughts for any of our other panelists?
Yeah, I instantly want to know more about what Rachel's doing because I love to get rid of things now, but it's taken a long time in life to feel like a minimalist. I mean, I just got rid of pretty much everything I owned. But I'm curious because of what Melissa was saying. It's even actually a part of the artist's way to say, to get people creative in week 4, they say, now go clean out your closet. So I'm curious about what Melissa was saying, like, and you asking, what is the ideal client? What do you see like shifting for people and what they're most excited about from what you're doing?
That is a great question. And like when I was mentioning earlier about doing this business course is to help me get clear, because a lot of people that were initially finding me are in that like hoarder realm, we'll just say. And as much as I love helping people along their healing journey, I have to be realistic and know that I'm not qualified to deal with like that kind of mental illness. And I don't want to, I hate that expression so much, stay in my lane, but I can't really think of anything else to say. that is not my lane. And so I'm starting to get to know more organizers in South Carolina that I can start referring people to. Because if I'm being honest, I want to help that woman who feels alone. I want to help that woman who has 6 kids and like, I don't have time to clean out a junk drawer and to implement systems that will make their life and their mornings, their evenings, whatever, just flow. That's the kind that for me, I feel like is my ideal closet. And if I get to do closets and pantries along the way, then great for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can I
and
ask one thing?
Rachel helped me from afar too, so she can do this by video. So she helped me in a weekend get my closet to a space where it's still organized the way she and I did it together 7 months ago now, and changed my mental approach to walking into my closet every day, and my husband's dramatically.
Amazing.
Okay, Barbara, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, you didn't. That one was one question. Do you do this remotely? And that's amazing that you can do it with people anywhere. And also kind of because of what I do you feel like it's creative? Like you get to feel creative in this pursuit too?
Absolutely, I do. For a long time, I didn't think I was a creative person, but stepping into home organizing since moving here, I am. I mean, might not be in a traditional way, but I love to puzzle solve someone's problem. And when I can go into their closet and visualize, I really feel like this would work for you and have it work for people. Like Melissa doesn't stop talking about it. And I love that because it does. That's the goal, right? The goal isn't to make it look so cute and pretty that it doesn't work for your lifestyle. I love the home edit girls. I think they're so cute and I think they do great work. But to rainbow color someone's closet may not vibe for your real life. And I have to be open to that. And I have to understand, what does your perfect morning look like? And I ask them that. When you step into this closet, what do you want to feel? And when they say, I want it to be easy, I'm like, great, we're going to do it this way. Boom, boom, boom. And they never look back. And I love that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. And I want to touch on something too that Rachel said a couple times now, because I've had this experience too, that I've worked with a woman named Andrea Gento. She's wonderful. She's helped me here so much in the branding piece as I offer so many more different ways for women to connect with this now. And one of the things she helped me through, and she asked me very specific questions. So she's like, we're going to develop and we're going to identify who your champagne client is. And when I say champagne client, it is that person who is ready to jump into this and do this with you. We're going to give her a name. Her name is Charlene. That's just the first name that came to mind. I have no special attachment to it. And she's all listed out for me. And it helped me get in touch with, okay, and understanding when I'm having conversations with women, having clarity on what level they're ready for, or if they're actually ready. And do I need to start them with, why don't you listen to this podcast and you listen to these talking points in the conversation we're having and see if anything resonates with you. And then you can go into, okay, why don't you tap into our book? Okay, maybe try this $47 offering and or if they're like, they might be all in and ready to go. Like, let's sit down together. I am ready to be accountable, but it really, really helps you not, spend a lot of time spinning your wheels in places and spaces and getting okay with the fact that this isn't for everyone. And that's okay. So I think that both Rachel and I in our own ways have been able to tap into getting a more specific and understanding where it is, the space it is that it's going to be ready and really can benefit on multi levels from doing this with us. Yeah. So good. Anything else, Barbara?
Love it. Thank you for the getting rid of stuff organization inspiration, Rachel.
Oh my gosh. All right, Kim, how about you?
I guess I'm curious for Melissa, Tara, and Nicole. Okay, you guys are all like on this cusp of, well, and Rachel too, and probably Barbara because you just moved and you're starting over. But like, I don't know how old everyone is, but I'm at this
We're
point
all
where
25, Kim. Thank you.
I'm not. um, like, how do you decide? I'd love to know. Like, you're writing a book. What are you going to do with it? Is it going to take you to the next level? Do you want to create a business with this, or do you just want to use it as your calling card when you're working with the women that you're serving currently? But like Melissa, when Rachel and I talk about our podcast, you know, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
And what do we want to do with it? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that question. And this continues to evolve and change for me. When I started the podcast in 2021, it was the first iteration of the Embracing Layers Network, which I didn't even know was going to be a thing at that point. I called it the F.E.E.L podcast, the Finding Empowerment, Embracing Layers podcast, because I knew women had to start talking about the things that were getting in the way of them living their healthiest, most authentic life, starting with the fact that it is not selfish to prioritize yourself, and really dispelling that thinking and walking women through the talking points. And over time, as I started having more conversations and meeting with more people, it became clear there were multiple ways to take this framework, what I call the F.E.E.L framework, these 8 talking points and 3 key questions, and help women apply them in more, not just listening to a conversation, but actually personalizing them to their lives. So then I was like, okay, the idea of a book came about in a conversation I was in in a podcast group that I'm in. I was like, they asked us, have you all wrote a book? I'm like, am I supposed to? I didn't know that. They're like, it's all there. The material's all there. And so meantime, we created the book. I've written an online course. I'm doing public speaking now. I've just started doing one-on-one empowerment sessions. I had my first empowerment session a couple of weeks ago, where I'm really walking women through the framework. Through all that, the podcast has stayed steady, but it's evolving in how it's really, I see it now as a kind of an entry point for women to get introduced to this framework. Like, welcome into our community, welcome into these conversations. We hope you're going to have these conversations with the women in your life too. And oh, by the way, if this feels like something you really want to connect with on a personal level, we've got multiple iterations that I can invite you into to do that. So for example, this was really great timing that you asked me this, Kim. So for example, starting in January, we drop 2 episodes a week. Tuesday's episode starting in January is going to be like a 15-minute mini empowerment session with me, where I'm going to give you a glimpse into what it looks like to work with me through the multiple ways that I offer. But if you don't need that much, it's just think of it as your Tuesday hit of, oh, this might be a really helpful resource. And then if you need more of it, I give you a glimpse and you can reach out to me. But it allows the women that I've been sharing information with for 4 years to not just see me as their podcast host, but to see me as someone, as a thought leader who can actually really help them walk through this framework and make it part of their life. So it's kind of, it's both an invitation into deeper conversation, as well as an opening and a door to walk through to really put this framework into play. And then on Thursday, we continue to have the conversations, because the beauty of these conversations, and all of you have been a guest with me, you get to bring your resources to this menu. So I have this F.E.E.L framework that I ask these key questions, but then you all have pieces of the puzzle for women that might be struggling in a specific area, whether they're struggling with the mental, emotional, physical health piece, whether they're struggling with the boundaries piece, whether they're struggling with the identifying their values piece. You all bring something into that feeds into this thing that I'm offering that I can plug in. So if I'm working with a woman one-on-one, and I know she has gone through multiple miscarriages, she's having a really hard time embracing her layers, I've got resources from Nicole that I can pull in. I'm like, I want you to go listen to Nicole's episode with me. I want you to take a look at these groups that she offers. I think this is going to really help you get over this embracing layers hump so we can move into prioritizing your self-care, because you're going to know your value. You're going to believe your value. You're going to be willing to prioritize yourself because you've taken this time and done the work in this layers piece. So that's an example of how I'm able to do that. So, but it started with just it's an invitation into, and I think that's what you and Rachel are doing. You and Rachel have such inviting. I just turn your stuff on and listen to you talk to me as I'm going about my day. I'm doing my laundry because I love hearing your voices. You're having practical, important conversations that are applicable. I feel seen. I feel understood. I laugh. So it's an invitation into safe spaces to experience and feel all these things that you're feeling. But then from there, you get to decide what's the outpouring of this. I didn't know 4.5, not quite 4.5, but almost 4.5 years ago, I was going to, if you would have told me I was going to land in this space today, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm just like, I'm in a closet in Lubbock, Texas, recording a podcast because I got good sound effects in here, and we're going to see how many women I can get engaged in these conversations. But what I love, what you and Rachel did is you met each other on my platform a year ago. It's been a year since y'all met, which is amazing. And you trusted that intuition and insight we've been hearing about. Look at all that you have created together, but also look at all the two of you have created on your own out of this outflow. The creativity, it is awoken in you collectively and individually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know where you're going. What about each one of you?
So mine was interesting. When I tried to commit suicide October 15th, 2019, and I should have not survived that. And when I woke up in the hospital bed in the ICU after being there a week, I truly knew that like I had officially hit my rock bottom. I could literally lay down and die, or I could get up, get clean, sober, heal from my past, and turn that pain into purpose and help others do the same. And so once I got out of the hospital, I started sharing my story on social media, like the good, bad, and the ugly. This is what happened. I was molested as a child. I was raped in college. My first husband, abused the heck out of me, all these things. And the moments I started sharing, all these women were reaching out to me. Me too. I have experienced that. I've experienced abuse or addiction or whatever it might be. And it really became a healing journey for me. And it also kept me, okay, I'm 55 days sober now. It was accountability as well. And about a year after and I still do it, super transparent, sharing my story, a publisher reached out to me. She's like, wow, have you ever thought about writing a book? I was like, no, I love what I'm doing. I love coaching women. I love getting to speak at different events. And she's like, I really think you should really lean into it. And so I did. And I produced my first book, The Queen's Companion book, Rule Your Throne, Own Your Queendom. And it was really step by step that my question was going to be for you, Kim, about a workbook. I knew that my healing journey was writing and journaling, and putting pen to paper was a huge part of my healing and my story. And so I produced this book for women who've experienced, that one was for abuse and addiction. And then came the second and the third. They were actually both released at the same time last year, on pregnancy and infant loss. It was my 5-year sobriety. And I knew I needed to put something out there that didn't exist. When my son died in the miscarriages, there was no books. There was memoirs about a story, but there was no this is what you can do to work through pregnancy and infant loss. These are the steps that you can take. And so that's what I did. I put my heart and soul. I made it a 12 steps, since I am a recovering alcoholic, and it's 12 steps that have taken me from point A to point B after experiencing pregnancy and infant loss. And then the other one was a memoir to my son. It was kind of sold, two together. And again, a huge part of my journey, like I said, it was writing. And I wanted these guides that you could pick up, like your workbooks, where you can jot down your thoughts, your feelings. That's so healing to put a pen to paper. And this fourth book, I say it's my final. We'll see where that goes. I wanted more. I wanted to share a little bit more of my why. And that's what it'll talk about my how, but it's my why. But, what Tara said, it's never been about the money. Each of my books, I make a donation to Sid's Alliance Foundation. It was what I feel is if I can touch one woman with every social media post or a book or a workshop, or if I can touch one woman, then I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So the books have never been about generating wealth. That's just, I know that's fine, but that's just not my heart. My heart is to put as much out there to really change the world. And I really feel like I can change the world. Like I'm that firm believer. Show up. Who cares? I dye the hair. I get the tattoos. I wear the glitter because I want women to be unapologetically you. And I truly feel the moment that you fall in love with yourself and not what others want you to be is when your life will truly change.
I love that.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Kimmy?
Okay.
And I think too, Kim, I think what I love about what you're doing is you followed this. And I said this earlier, you're continuing to follow this next iteration. Oh, this is the next iteration. This is the next. You're helping so many writers right now, but you're continuing to follow your nudges and just trusting your nudges to putting these things out there that are branching out into so many different spaces and places. I think it's fantastic. When Tara was talking about, I was like, Tara, you need to talk to Kim. She can help you.
Oh, yes. I definitely will. Like you did point on a lot of things. People, really do need that workbook to kind of release all their emotions and traumas and wounding onto paper. And like Nicole was saying, that was a therapeutic journey for her, just writing everything down. Because what we need to do throughout life in our healing journeys is just purify the mind, body, spirit from everything that has weighed us down. And that's an ongoing journey. So to have that journaling workbook in that kind of space, like people, once they get into it, you will notice a huge difference in how you feel, and you'll come out on the other end of your healing journey. So yeah, like with my book, it started off as a journaling practice with a bunch of stories about what I went through in my own life, but I felt like I was like a silent healing journey mentor for myself at first, and took myself out of that and said, how can this help other women who have roadblocks to coping with life in different ways? Because we all have those challenges of learning how to cope in different ways. And if I could put a light on, a different strategy of a life hack of how you can, help calm your mind, body, spirit in different ways. Maybe that's all that someone needs, is just a simple story that'll draw someone in, and they could see themselves in that story and, apply some of these little hacks to their lives. So, yeah, it's great.
All right, Nicole, any questions or thoughts or statements to any of our other panelists?
So my question is for you, Kim. I love that you do the workbooks. I do the same. I think it's just so vital in the healing process. I want to know your why. Like, why do you do what you do?
I work with a lot of people I work with a lot of older women. And I say that with all the love in my heart that I can. But, like I didn't touch a computer until I was a senior in high school. Whereas, the industry now is talented, and they all knew more than I did when I was publishing. And I'm close enough that I could figure it out. Even though I struggled, I figured it out. And now I work with women who are not able to figure it out. I'm just trying to make it easier. I think everyone has a story, and each one of us has something in our past that can help another person. And but so many women particularly are stifled by the inability to produce. And so if I can make it easier, if I can create a workbook that asks you questions so you can identify your who, and you can share your story with that one person. I just, like all of us, we're just trying to make the world a better place, right? And easier, and the more stories that get out there, the better we are as a society. So yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love that. And also really pours into, I had a multi-generational panel last week, and it really pours into the importance of getting these multi-generational stories out there too, because I think there's so many ways to connect. And it was fun. I was able to, the conversation I had, with my friend Tina Mystery, she's 40, I'm 56. She's one of my very good friends here in Fresno, and vice versa. And so just and what we can learn, I have women here that I absolutely revere and love, and all over, that are 75, 85 years old, that are vibrant and living their best lives, but they're, and I can be a channel, and Kim is a channel to get their stories out there, to let people know the lives they've lived, the wisdom they've learned, the wisdom they have to offer, and also connect them with those 20 and 30 somethings, and kind of create that bridge of common experiences of wisdom that can be only learned from a life lived. And so I think this, is such a service that Kim, that you're doing to help these women, because you get frustrated. They can't figure out the technology. They can't figure out the search engines and the why something's freezing and why they can't get that to post, all these little things. And then you just kind of like, but you're there to make sure, nope, we're going to walk through that. We're going to get through that. We're going to get to the other side of it. And your story is going to be heard and told. And so good. So powerful. I also, want to lean into something that I think was important too in my journey. And Barbara was a part of this, right? She's not expecting this, but after Barbara and I had our conversation and our meet and decided this is a great fit. I want to share your voice. I want to record with you on the podcast. I want to bring you into panels. I love this so much. She was able to give me a human design reading. We were able to connect, and it made everything make sense about how I operate. So fast forward 3 months later to my work with my PR branding friend that I talked about earlier, Andrea Ginto. Drea, she's started talking to me. She's like, wait a minute. I think I know what your design is. And I was like, oh my God. And she tapped, and she's like, you know what? Because I'd had this epiphany this summer, and it brought made all of this make sense, that I had to quit looking at my calendar as a series of time slots for availability, and had to look at it in terms of my bandwidth and my energy. And like, okay, these things are scheduled, but what kind of energy is that going to ask of me? Do I have too much on here? Do I need to back up? Or, and so it's changed the way I look at my calendar. And it's also made that connect point. I have never connected with the 9-to-5 work week, Monday through Friday. That has never been something. I have fought that even as I've existed in it my entire life. And I questioned myself a lot because of the societal narrative around how we work and when we work and the hours and all those things of like, I know I'm not lazy. I know that it's not that I don't want to work. That's not it. But I don't work in this. I don't thrive in this. I make it work because life requires me to, but this is not how I show up. And I was always battling before it was okay to work from home, and before it was okay to do these things, trying to make my workspaces allow me to be the way I needed to be, to honor me. I was always pushing the narrative on that. So when I was able to connect those points with Barbara, and then have it come to fruition over the summer, and then have Drea in September call that out in me, Barbara, I thought of you. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all coming full circle. So get to know who you are. Get to understand your design, your energy, how you operate. Recognize the role your cycle plays in this, and how much energy you have during that. If you're menopausal, postmenopausal, there's still shifts that happen within that, even though we're not having a period anymore, even though our hormones are operating differently. It still exists within our design that there's some weeks we're more energetic, and some weeks we're more contemplative, and some day and designing your calendar in a way that aligns with who you are. So I wanted to call that out, and Barbara, give you a chance to speak on that a little bit, because I think this is something that women are craving and they don't even know it.
I'm so glad, Melissa, that someone reflected that synchronicity. I'd be willing to guess that multiple people here are fellow projectors, like me. There are only 5 different energy types in human design. For anyone that knows nothing about it, you could just look at your energy type, and it's kind of going to give you insights into what Melissa was just saying. Like, how does my energy best want to flow? How do I invite in more ease? Is my word always with the flow? And Melissa and I, being fellow projectors, we're supposed to work 2 to 3 hours a day and rest way more than other people. This is why a lot of us who are projectors get called to become guides, entrepreneurs. We know that we can't go in that 9 to 5. And I think it's really interesting. One of my favorite things right now is actually doing it with small businesses, Melissa. So I love that, of like, we all flow differently. So we can't get in this conformity and actually own our gifts. I always just talk about, how do we let everyone own their gifts and flow their way, and see we actually are our little perfect puzzle pieces, and that way we can all come together. So I love that this person said that to you. I'm actually working with a business social media coach right now. Luckily, I've done her human design. So when she says things to me, again, it can't be a formula. I can go, that's not going to work for me as a projector. She'll go, okay, and we'll pivot something together, or we'll tweak it. So I think it's so affirming. Again, your intuition, you always knew that, like how your energy best flowed, Melissa. So instead of all of us trying to conform to these systems, like, how can we hack that matrix and do it our own way, invite in the ease? Yeah.
And it's changed it. Like, so today I'm recording this panel. I've got a staff meeting at 2:30. That's all that's on my calendar today. And I say I give all of my energy, all of my passion is poured out into this. When I finish this, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to drink some water, and then I'm going to sit down and prepare for my meeting. I'm going to go into a meeting. I'm going to come out. I'm going to do my workout, and I'm going to start thinking about dinner. I mean, because I know that's where I can give. If I try to do anything beyond that, they get a less energetic, less present version of me. And the beautiful thing is starting with you and then having Drea call that out. When Drea and I work together, everything she does and all the ways we plan are built into that understanding about me and my energy and what I give. She's like, okay, as these things build, as you get more of this happening in your life, we're going to have to look at over here what needs to adjust to make sure we're not getting you out of sync. So it really changes the whole way. So I want to spend a little time shouting that. Pay attention to your energy. Pay attention. Look at your calendar in terms of what you have to give, not how much time is on there. And don't beat up on yourself, because it's just that reminder of, you want to show up as the most authentic, present, energized form of you. That's honoring to you, and it's honoring to the people you're spending time with. And wherever that falls, whether you've got miles of energy to give or you've got 2 to 3 good hours in you a day, whatever it is. And that doesn't mean I'm going to go to sleep when I'm done. I will answer some emails. I will fold my laundry. I will, there's other things. I will send some reminders out. So I think we have to really but just change the understanding, but honoring the way we show up in the world, and really dispelling these myths that there's only one way to show up and be productive in this society.
And you can, right? I took a nap before.
Yes.
Melissa, I took
Absolutely.
a nap at 7 a.m. in toddler land, and I went, I could answer the emails, or I could be rested and show up at this panel. And I took a nap, and then I will be super efficient for the next 3 hours of work after this.
Oh yeah. I took a nap from 1 to 2 yesterday. Yeah. Took a nap from 1 to 2, woke up, did the rest of my day. Yeah. And no apology. My husband's like, you want to sleep longer? I'm like, no, if I sleep longer, I won't sleep tonight. That was what I needed. So on my couch with my snuggly blanket. Oh yeah, so good. All right, we're going to give all of you a chance to share real quick one last thought that you'd like our women to hear out in the world, and where they can find you. And then all that information will be in the show notes. Tara, let's start with you.
Yeah. So one last thought I'd like to share with everyone is, just take it easy on yourself these days. I feel like everything's moving at a super fast pace, and people are, just going. They're, life is getting tougher. Cost of living is going up. And I just want everyone to know, like, even though it feels like it's going very quick, take time to slow down and do what is joyful for you. And know that you're a unique human being. You don't need to be like anybody else. You've gone through the things that you've gone through, and you have so much to offer to this world. So when you're feeling down, find a way that, do something that you remember that brings you joy, that is always bringing you joy, that you haven't done in a long time, and connect with that part of yourself again. So, sometimes, like a lot of us women, we self-abandon ourselves and our needs to take care of our family and loved ones. And sometimes we just need to stop if it's at the end of the day after dinner and you just want to go lie down after getting everything done and, taking care of the kids. Just, take time to just have that nap that Barbara and Melissa were talking about. It's well worth it. We need to take care of ourselves first before we could be valuable to anybody else and with our time. So yeah, if you want to learn more about the inner peace that I write about and simple life hacks, you can reach me at www.terrasweetawakening.com. And I'm also on Instagram at Mae Temple, and on Facebook as well, Mae Temple. But the big launch date, hopefully, as things go well, is now going to be mid-January for my book. So I hope everyone will look into it and drop me a note to let me know what you think of it if you get a chance to read it. It's called Life Hacks for Healing and Harmony.
So good. Thank you, my friend. Rachel.
I'm muted. I was saying that I'm all about a nap, and we talk about this on the show a lot. Menopause is real, and I have to sometimes really go with those feelings and emotions and manage them on a daily basis. And if I can nap, I'm going to do it, because I do find that I'm snappier, less, and I deal with the feelings better if I am taking care of myself. I really never understood how important or what that really meant when I was younger. And so I get it when we are trying to instill in our young ladies to take care of yourself now because it preps you for this stage of your life. Maybe that should be my new mission in life too, because it is serious. But I try to go through it with a joyful heart and know that it's not forever. It's just for right now. And yeah, so I am also online under Organized by Rachel. Also, my website is still currently Rachel Lavin Wellness. I am happy to assist in any way I can with your home organizing needs, whether that be in person, virtually, having a phone conversation. I think it's so important to really understand that connection between your home, your space, your car, because I've seen some pretty nasty cars out there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All of those things help your well-being and help you go through this life as light as possible.
Yeah, so good. And the podcast, where do we find that?
Oh my God, why do I keep forgetting to mention it? The Whole Woman podcast with Kim and Rachel is on everywhere you can listen to a podcast. We drop a new episode every Friday, and we are enjoying it. We love it, and we are ready to get the whole world on board.
Yeah, it really makes your Friday a Friday. And yes, I did take that and run with it, but it does. It's just a fun way to have your Friday. All right. All right. All right. Barbara, how about you?
To everyone listening, this feels like a theme that was coming up this week. My company is called the Howling Hive. And at the Hive this week, I really said it all feels like a journey of remembering. And I think I just want to affirm for everyone that releases a lot of this productivity guilt, any of the guilt. Can we really affirm there's nothing to fix? There's no finish line to run to, so we can get radically gentle with ourselves, check in with and affirm our gifts so that we start sharing them as gifts. I think it's such a different energetic. So I think it really starts with just remembering and being so gentle with ourselves and all of that. And people can find me at thehowlinghive.org for all of our groups, all of our communities. I started a podcast last year too. The first season's out. It's called Creating and Connecting with the Howling Hive. And we're on social media with the Howling Hive. And you can get my free ebook. The most recent workbook to come out is all about the artist way, which I lead groups in. So you can get that for free on the website. It's called Break the Rules, how to do the artist way your way and actually finish it.
Wow.
Ooh, good. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Kim.
All right. Well, I am a faithful morning page girl. And because it is November, I just want to leave everyone with the fact that we've transitioned from just being a Burr month to a thankful Burr month. And so I am really trying to embrace the spirit of gratitude right now. And I haven't ended a day yet. I'm on day 3. So I've got a streak going here. 3 gratitudes before I go to bed. And it really does make all the difference in the world to not only the way I end my day, but the way I start the next one. So it's been lovely meeting all of you. And you can find me at Kim Mosman Wellness on my website, or Kim Mosman at Instagram or Facebook. And you're never going to know what you're going to get, because I just write about what I think about that day. So.
And the podcast, again, give them twice for those that missed earlier.
Whole Woman Podcast with Kim and Rachel. We like to talk about all kinds of things. And I was thinking to myself just this morning, we should sit down and plan 2026, but I kind of like the way we're just flying by the seat of our pants right now. So who knows what'll happen next year.
There's a certain freedom in that, it really just kind of, we put so much. Planning can be good. There's areas that definitely need it, but there's also, it's good to have these places you can just show up and be like, what do we got today? Where are we today? What do we got today? I love that. Oh,
I lost my partner.
We lost Rachel. She was so excited about that. She went to
Got to work.
She couldn't wait. She got to work. All right. Oh my goodness. Nicole.
I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is ask for help. We are not meant to do this life alone. It is already so hard as a military spouse, as a woman. A lot of times we just got to suck it up and just go and keep moving forward. And I cannot tell you, the moment I started asking for help, the floodgates open. Because the thing is, other women want to help you. Other family members want to help you, but they don't know what they don't know. So definitely ask for help. And you're not alone. Go share your story with a family member or a friend or somebody, just so you know that you're not alone. So that would be my biggest advice. Don't think you're supposed to do this by yourself, because we're not.
Yeah. And where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me at NicoleBGebhart.com, spirituallighthousehealing.com. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, Nicole B. Gebhart. And you can find my books, Rule Your Throne, Own Your Queendom, Broken Wings, Broken Dreams, and The Healing Cocoon on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And then November 18th will be A Queen Saves Herself coming out on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Oh, that's just a few, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
2 weeks. Yep.
Woo! Yay. Oh, thank you all. Wow. I'm ready to go into the week now. I just feel completely energized and ready. Thank you for all the energy and wisdom and empathy and thoughtfulness that you all bring into the world. This is why I love women. This group right here. Look at all the different ways we show up for each other, for ourselves. I love it so much. For all of our work here at the Embracing Layers Network, go to embracinglayers.com and find out the ways that you can connect with me, with our team. I am ready and waiting to meet you and lead you through your feel-fueled life adventure. So let me know if you're interested in getting started in that. That one last thing I want to leave with, that all of us talk, that I think sometimes we don't make the connection on, is accountability. There is an accountability that goes with showing up for yourself. There's an accountability that goes with, none of us have this magic formula that is not going to require you to be accountable in your own story. We sometimes conflate that. Well, if I'm accountable, then I've got to be hard on myself, and I got to be mean to myself, and I got to hold myself to this rigidity. No. Accountability is simply showing up for you each day And taking the steps it requires for you to be your healthiest, most authentic, empathetic, kind-hearted, curious person, first to you, so you can be it to other people. So please remember that accountability and kindness actually run together most effectively, most efficiently, I think that's where it stays. We stay accountable to ourselves in the healthiest way when we do it with kindness and not with this rigidity that I think has been mistakenly attached to this. So that's my thought for today. Thanks so much for all of you for being with us. Welcome to November. Thanks so much for feeling safe and willing to come as you are today. And we'll be back next week with another conversation. I don't remember the theme, but I will be here. So come join me. Take care and have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.